Hello everybody. So today's topic is going to be character differences, and that's basically just the small differences that each character brings when you're going in challenges. Um, and so yeah, at first you might think they're all the same. There are really subtle differences, and the best way to show this off is going to be in some of the invasions and some of the regular levels. Um, and so I'm just going to hop into those and go from there. So we're going to start here in Infiltration Station to show off pretty much the only unique property to Rayman, and that's that he has a larger roll spin. And this is the only place in the game that it's useful. So here in There's Always a Bigger Fish Invade, we can see that Rayman is unable to kill these enemies, while the princess is able to kill them. And that's because the princess has a larger spin dash radius than the other characters. So here we are at the start of the What the Duck invasion, and there's a few things we're going to look at. The first thing is how Rayman dies here. He ground pounds, and during the ground pound, he elevates up into the spikes, and that causes him to die. Now, in comparison, the princess here, she's going to do the exact same thing, but when she hits that point, she's going to ground pound and not elevate as high, and this allows her to live. And that's because the princess has a lower ground pound elevation compared to Rayman and Teensy and other characters. This is specifically a difference for her. Now, we're going to look at this a third time with Teensy. You're going to see that he doesn't even make it 2 jumps up the vine here. And that's because the Teensy is a climbing champion. Uh, for most invasions, if there's ropes, Teensy wins. He does climb better on walls, but ropes are really where he gets his main advantage. I'm gonna let this invasion video play out, and then we're gonna hop over to a challenge video in Tower Speed. So here in this tower speed challenge, around the 110 meter mark is a brick that has a strat that it's teensy only. Now it's not always best to use this strat when this brick occurs, but it can only be performed by teensy, and that's why in this challenge you see everyone using teensy. Basically what'll happen is teensy will jump off the chain and be able to land on the next platform without having to ground pound, and that just saves some time with this particular configuration. And then here it is in slow motion if you want a closer look. Alright, now for the last major difference for Teensy, we're here in the land speed challenge, and this basically, Teensy can grab ledges from a lower elevation than, say, Rayman or Princess. And that allows, on this challenge, for the Teensy to go under a wall. And it's usually advantageous in any speed challenge to go under this wall with Teensy. So here we are in another land speed challenge, but it's Glowbox this time, and we're just showing off that same trick. Glowbox can be under the ledge while still being able to grab that same ledge and climb up it and go under the wall. So here we are in the Amazing Maze invasion, and we're looking at that same glitch, but applied in a different location. And this kind of shows off also the difference between Teensy and Glowbox, because although they both can grab that ledge in the Land of the Living Dead, this is Glowbox only. And basically, because Glowbox can do it here, his body remains down in that barrier that is generated to prevent you from going backwards, and you launch out of the gap between the rooms, and It's a pretty cool effect. Okay, so the last difference for Glowback is going to be his attack distance. And so this allows him to attack through walls and a lot of the different dojo bricks. So I forgot to throw this in with the princess earlier, but in the pit distance challenges, you don't want to take princesses in, and it's because there's a glitch with this specific brick that the blue hands don't like to hold onto princesses. They often let you die unless you're incredibly careful. Alright, so now that we know a fair amount about what differences the characters bring to the table, I guess the big question is, who should you use for when you're doing things in this game? And for invasions, I would say just use whoever the record used, because they're pretty solved. But for challenges, it can be a little bit different, right? Like, so for pit challenges, it's usually just use whoever you feel like using. And there's really not too many differences that affect pit challenges, except for pit distances. For the Land of the Living Dead, it's similar but different. Typically, there's no real contest between the characters for really simple challenges. Yet, if there's a teensy only or the teensy glow box only trick, then you obviously have to use one of them. And then that larger dash radius for Princess tends to make Princess easier. And there are specific bricks where her larger dash radius allows you to hit a bone wall that makes it faster with her, and you get more speed from the hill or something. Um, and then there's also the bumper ground pound with Rayman. Princess having a shorter ground pound hurts her. So it just kind of depends on the challenge, but you can usually get away with whoever you want. For dojos, obviously, Glowbox punching through walls makes him the champion. But if you don't have a Glowbox OP brick, then I guess you can use whoever you want, but just use Glowbox. For tower, the bad ground pound from Princess makes her usually not that suitable. Bare minimum, it just makes it easier to use Teensy and Rayman. And then Teensy just being shorter can make him land on platforms sooner. But in most cases, it's either Rayman or Teensy are the way to go. And then for Murphy, Princess and Rayman usually are kind of a toss-up. Her larger radius again makes it easier just to match spacing, but in general you can usually use who you want. So that's really all that I'm going to cover in this video, and that's the major differences that are going to affect your everyday challenges as well as invasions. There are more subtle differences that are hard to articulate, and I'm not going to try and do that at all. But I will just say, if you ever get stuck with like a specific trick or something, just try out a different character, and maybe you'll have different results. Weird stuff can happen, but I hope that this was helpful and that you learned something about the different characters. That's gonna be all from me. So, see you guys next time.